With the button, okay, good. Thanks, Jake. All right, I would like to call the Albany Monthly Conservation Commission meeting of February 3rd, 2026 to order at 6:39 PM. There are no appointments today. So to new business, let's approve the minutes of January 6th, 2026. Do I hear a motion come to the floor, please?
I'm going to make a motion to approve them.
Good. I'll second that.
Okay. Do I'll have a chance to read the minutes and go over them. Are there any questions, concerns, punctuations? No. Okay. Hearing none, I would like to take a vote to approve the minutes as presented.
All those in
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Aye.
all those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Okay, motion carries, minutes are approved. Then, the other piece that I put on new business was for us to review, or start to at least look at and review the agricultural management plan. I found my copy, but I haven't had a chance, I didn't read it thoroughly again, but,
Yeah, I have it here.
Of 2014?
I didn't read it thoroughly either.
Yep.
If we want to come around the computer and read through it.
sure,
Do it.
Okay.
Mark it up that way, we can.
okay? Or, like I said, I do have a hard copy on me, so,
Oh, yeah, if you want to read along.
sure, yep.
Court, do you want to read on the computer here?
Oh,
Do you want to read on the hard copy?
yeah, probably may be a good idea.
Swing another chair.
I got it right here on my phone.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Still had it. I had it from your email still.
Okay.
Alright. Agricultural Management Plan, Albany Town Forest, May 2014. The purpose of the document is to serve as a management guide for the agricultural lands of Albany Town Forest. It's approximately 40 acres in size and shown on the attached map A, agricultural fields of the Albany Town Forest. These lands are currently open fields bordering the Swifter and Kent Middle School in the easternmost portion of the town forest. The entirety of the town forest is managed by the Albany Conservation Commission in Albany, New Hampshire. And the Conservation Commission is responsible for ensuring that the management guidelines set out herein are followed. Agricultural production will be encouraged in these fields where feasible. So I'm just reading. If
Right.
at any point, feel free to interject at any point if there's something
Yep.
that you think we should change or update or whatever. I'm just reading aloud. Through the use of the BMPs for agriculture in New Hampshire, the groundwater and surface water will be safeguarded and wetland function maintained. See appendix for a hyperlink to New Hampshire's BMPs. This management plan is written to ensure the long-term productivity of the land from both agricultural and resource management perspective. This includes putting value on farm economics, wetland buffers, ground and surface water quality, and wildlife habitat. The Conservation Commission has a strong interest in seeing land use used for productive agricultural use. On page 15, July 27, 2012, Conservation Management Plan for the property, the Commission states that, quote, the Town of Albany wishes to develop agricultural resources on site in order to take advantage of the outstanding soils present and to develop a system of local agriculture that benefits the town as a whole. This goal is contemplated at length in the conservation easement, and the protection and promotion of both agricultural and forestry on site is listed as a conservation purpose in this easement, end quote. This interest could be further developed through the establishment of community gardens or a community-supported agricultural CSA program, both of which are encouraged by the town. Any thoughts or edits?
Well, we don't really have either of those right now, I guess we say we're just contracting, I guess, with private farmers.
Yeah, is there anything that I've read that contradicts what we're doing right now? What's
No,
happening-
that
or
was,
not-
basically it was a recap of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are options. It says this interest could be further developed. It doesn't say like we have to.
Have to, right.
Or we could say it is further developed, and then also, in there now, it's currently being used.
Actually, if you continue further on, like I said, this is, what you just read is just an overview.
Oh, okay.
As you go further in, you'll see that it's been updated, that there's stuff going on, Littlefield Farms listed in there,
Okay.
maps are
Okay.
semi-updated, so,
Yeah.
yeah, there's more pertinent information.
And this is 14 pages, so this is page 2 of 14.
Okay. Do you want to
Maybe
just,
we can read half of it.
well, I was just going to say, do half of it and then we can
Yeah,
address half of it.
sounds great. All right, titled, Requirement Under the Conservation Easement. If and when commercial agricultural, as opposed to occasional mowing of fields and haying, occurs on site, the adoption of an agricultural management plan is required by the conservation easement, which was completed and publicly, spelling, recorded on January 2012. Sections 4.d.2 of the conservation easement states that, quote, agricultural for industrial or commercial purposes shall be performed in accordance with the agricultural management plan, compatible with the sites and soils of the protected property, and consistent with the conservation purposes and stewardship goals of this conservation easement. Such activities shall be in accordance with the then current scientifically based BMPs recommended by UNH Co-op, the Carroll County Conservation District, the USDA, Natural Resource Conservation Service, third-party certification systems and agricultural services, or other government, that should be or private, not of private. Nonprofit natural resource conservation and management agencies then active. Agricultural management activities shall not materially impair the scenic quality of the protected property as viewed from the Swift River, Kink, Byway, White Mountain Highway, Bald Hill Road, and surrounding areas. End quote. Okay. Currently, there is no commercial agriculture on site, and thus this plan is not yet required. There are several farmers, however, who may be interested in row crop commercial farming during the 2024 season. This management plan needs to be adopted, so this sentence clearly needs to be updated.
Oh,
Mhm.
Let's put it in red. I mean, it could just say currently there is commercial agriculture on site.
Right.
Or just take the whole paragraph out.
Or just take it out. Correct.
That would be the easiest, just remove it,
Just
there's no
remove
need to have it.
Okay, the next section. Other requirements and/or objectives as previously stated. The requirement of having a formal agricultural management plan is repeated in the Town Forest Conservation Management Plan, which was adopted by the Conservation Commission in July 2012. So we need to update that it was
Update that.
amended. And amended, whenever we amended it. So that, whatever, I'll just put it in date.
Mhm.
So 24, 25, but
Yeah,
Whenever it was we did it.
that's when we actually approved it.
25, because that was the last one we did.
Do you know the month?
I had it under old business for January, and we'd already done it,
Yeah. We can
so
look it up later.
probably October.
Yeah, we can look it up later.
Where, okay.
I'll put a placeholder in to put a date in.
Okay.
Other objectives and strategies from that plan with status to date include, first bullet point, seek recommendations for future agricultural use by interviewing potential leasee farmers or other agricultural experts, create preliminary work plans and budgets to determine feasibility of agricultural conversion.
Should just update that to status completed.
I would say take future out. And
Take what up?
take future, take the word future out.
Oh.
Just seek recommendations for, or,
You see right at the end of the statement, it says status partially completed.
Oh, right,
You could just say
right.
status completed.
yeah, right. That's true.
Like I said, I kind of looked through it quick, it looked like
Yeah,
somebody had looked at this since
Before.
its inception
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
and
Yep.
put in some notes of update,
All right.
and we're just updating it
yeah.
again.
All right. The next bullet point, agricultural management plans shall be developed in coordination with USFL, include BMPs recommended by UAH Co-op, Carroll County Conservation District, USDA, or other stakeholders or conservation management groups or agencies then active. Status complete. This plan has had substantial input from UNH Co-op, USDA, and USFL. Next bullet point. Active agriculture on-site, say that 3 times,
Yep.
can inadvertently impact other conservation values as delineated in the conservation easement, such as wildlife habitat, grassland bird species, example that requires late harvesting of hay in order to successfully brood young in grassland nests. Water quality, inputs of chemicals, organic or otherwise, wetland function, dredging may be required to dry out fields, etc., and other named resources. Care should be taken to develop responses to such potential impacts and triggers, and response categories should be developed as part of the agricultural management plan. Does that all sound still reasonable?
Okay.
Oh, get a whole page out of that. Status in progress, so should status be complete?
Or
Wouldn't it always
incorporated
be in
into this
progress?
plan, just say,
I think this, status in progress and incorporated, I think that's a appropriate phrasing as it is. Next bullet point, whenever possible, agricultural on-site shall utilize techniques with the fewest impacts to the property. Example, preferences shall be given to smaller sized farm equipment, etc. Status in progress and incorporated into this plan.
that's correct.
Seems reasonable?
Sure.
Okay, next section.
Yes.
Facilitation of agricultural operations, farming plots, and zones. Based on input from interested leasee farmers, it was decided to divide the open fields into 3 discrete areas which can be leased separately, as well as allowing for additional areas that can either be managed for long-term agricultural production, perennial crops, orchards, etc., or managed for habitat purposes. Are we still in 3
It's really two now.
It's too.
discrete areas? It's 2 farmers, but are there
It's
still
2.
3 discrete areas?
I think Grandview adopted a portion
third.
that would have been the third
The
to
third.
kind of balance
Yeah.
out
Right.
But
the
isn't
two
it still kind
holdings.
of its own area,
Yeah,
even though
it
it's
is.
Grandview
We
that
could,
has it?
yeah, we could say that too, that other portion that's way out by the river has never been developed. It's probably growing up, but that was potentially everything that was to the west of the road
Yeah,
was
they have-
considered the third area, yeah.
This one?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they have Grandview's name on that, if I remember correctly when I was
Yeah.
looking at the map.
right. I like to think of that as a poison ivy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is that still grown up with sumac and?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So that could potentially be converted into farm?
Yep,
If,
yep.
when and if?
Yep, yeah. Yeah, these guys are maximizing, Grandview's maximized a good chunk of that, but there's room for addition. And I think to Mike's point is, we still have theoretically 3 sections of that.
Can I
we
see that
consider.
just for a second? Which are the original 3 sections?
So you've got essentially like
If you scroll down, it's way easier to see if you scroll all the way down to the end of the document.
Oh, okay.
Not to be a pain, but it literally is spelled out with names on it and
I
color
think
coded.
that's probably.
Oh, yeah, maybe you have it printed
I
out.
have it printed out, actually.
See, here you go, right there. See, there's the sections. There's
Oh,
one
this is the
that,
soil types.
there's one that labels
one.
the farmers' areas even.
Okay, 822, is this it? Property boundary, proposed farm plots and soil.
Keep going, there's one for the farmers specifically. There you
Oh,
go.
Lisi Farmer A, Lisi Farmer B, Lisi Farmer C.
So probably the next one spells out who has it.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually,
That's
that
the
one
last, that's
does.
the end of the thing.
right,
Okay.
yeah. So Grandview is using this, and this.
Oh,
Trying to get some happy medium around here.
one of them definitely had their names on them too, if you,
Oh, yeah,
one of the color coded ones.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how, like, I know that that's upper triangle is Grandview.
Okay. So the three original areas are light blue, purple, and tan, is that
Yep.
correct?
yeah.
And are light blue, purple, and tan all being actively farmed?
Yep.
Yes, because I believe he started
Yes.
tilling this side of
Yep.
the hedgerow
He's
there.
planting,
Right.
Pumpkins
Yep.
in
Yeah,
there. Right,
Yep.
so they've got, it's a little square, this is kind of crappy soil in here.
right.
And then I think, I'm pretty sure that this section is being used by Davis.
Okay.
And I think,
Yeah, see, right here, it says Littlefield Farm,
right,
right there.
yeah,
Grandview, right there.
right,
Basically purple. And the only one that wasn't spelled out that may want to, like this one says Littlefield Farm
Yeah,
right
right.
there, is that portion you do on the
Right.
hedgerow.
Yep.
That, remember they came in and met with us and asked if they could,
yeah,
and they thought that it would kind of balance out the two farms.
yeah,
Mhm.
That's why I say in reality, you end up with just two separate,
Yeah.
it really only leaves a small triangle, which actually has Grandview's name on it.
yeah, and they're using it.
Oh, actually, no, that's the triangle you're talking about right there, isn't it?
No.
It's right here.
It's there, right, and then.
Yeah, it has
they're also-
Grandview on
right,
that.
and they're also using, this here.
It has Grandview on
Yeah,
it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking about these two sections.
Okay.
So reality is, there's really nothing left
Yeah.
for a third party to
Well,
move in, if that was your
So
question,
it's
Sean.
kind of forested.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't actually have a good, because it's off the river.
Well, they mentioned in the, if you read further, they mention there's a A, B, C, and a D.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the
That's
D,
D, see, it says
where you could do
that, right.
a different kind of growth, long-term growth in
Sure.
there, berries
Yeah.
or
You could grow-
fruit trees or
Poison ivy.
poison ivy,
Yeah. Right.
if it
Yeah.
ever becomes valuable.
That's out here.
Okay.
And it's growing over something desperate. You know, This is all sumac in here and poison ivy.
Yeah.
And then out by the river, it's all poison ivy too,
Mm.
and this is poison ivy in here.
Mm.
I mean, not just a little,
We're gonna need a lot of codes.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, goats, man, we should get some goat farmers.
God, it's the worst. I've had 3 outbreaks of poison ivy working in that neighborhood. I never had it before.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not good.
And there's a lot of poison ivy in here too.
Yeah.
Well, tentatively, the farmers are coming next month, so we could
Yeah.
confirm.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
mowed this year, at least nobody mowed on this side of that ditch, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it needs to be mowed every other year, if it's mowed
Mhm.
every year, otherwise it goes up.
So we kind of ended up in this map, because I was asking the question, that the wording says 3 distinct areas. Does the wording still match what's
Well,
happening?
if you got, is there another map that's further into this, or where
This is
Mike's?
the
It's just-
last map.
No, he's looking at the same thing I am. There's,
Yeah.
they say, there's 4 areas, 3 distinct for the farmers,
Yeah,
and a 4th that could be used for fruit trees or whatever that is for future, which my understanding is this one up here.
yep,
So well, they're calling the 3 distinct, this one, and this one, which have been further broken down now by the farmers into
right,
just 2 areas of
Yeah.
use.
yeah. Yeah, and I think Davis has actually improved this section out here a little bit. They've been pushing it a little bit back. They have taken out some of the sumac that was in this area.
Maximize that corner.
Yeah, it's good soil there, I think. It's the best soil, I think it's the best soil in the place, believe it or not.
So the description's accurate. There are 3 areas, but they're all being used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yep, there's, other than that area over here, really they are utilizing the whole area that's available to them.
So I guess thinking about the farmers coming, this is a question,
Yeah.
you know, are either of them interested in putting work in to reclaim that?
Yeah, sure, we can ask them. I begin to think that Grandview's get more acreage there than Davis. It's not a 50-50. Maybe.
Are you writing down a question there, Kathy?
Yes, I am.
And maybe, maybe they don't want them anymore.
Right. Maybe neither of them want anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so much work into what's there.
If I could go into that neighborhood, then you'd want to give me a poison ivy.
I won't even watch somebody do it, I'll start
Something,
itching.
man, I don't know what. God.
Okay. So I'm back into the paragraphs here. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
So I'll just start again. Based on the input from the leasing farmers, it's decided to divide the open fields up into 3 discrete areas, which can be leased separately, as well as allowing for additional areas that can either be managed for long-term ag production or managed for habitat purposes. Each leased area is able to be accessed by vehicle from existing or proposed roadways. Is that true still? They all have that, okay, good.
Yeah.
And each area has a mix of soil types and existing conditions and/or constraints, such as buffer strips or existing shrub habitat. Effort was made to divide up the best available land equitably with respect to soil type and access. In order for each leasee farmer to maximize productivity while not interfering with other farmers' operations, each of the 3 plots should be delineated by visual barriers such as fencing or vegetation.
That's
They're
probably.
delineated by a green strip, right, like a grass strip?
Yeah, there's a grass strip. It's kind of vague, but I think they understand it,
Yeah.
the separation.
Yeah. Establishment of pollinator buffer strips in these areas would be ideal. See below under management recommendations.
I think that passes the lab test too.
You're right, yeah. Then you gotta man it. It's a lot of extra work for them.
Yeah, but I mean, certainly around the backside of Davis, there's buffers on both sides. And we're still maintaining a big, what do you want to call it, milkweed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 3 leasee farmer areas are sized to be 8 acres or larger. This allows for 4 acres to be in crop production, while a second 4-acre area is cover cropped or otherwise fallow. Crop rotation between the 2 areas would be encouraged and is an adopted BMP as proposed by UNH Co-op. Are they, I mean, this is a question, are they rotating it, like, is Davis rotating different crops in different areas on different years?
That would be-
And is Littlefield
That'd be a
doing the
question
same
to
thing?
That's a
ask
question
them.
for them. I'm kind of doubting it. They may put cover crops in at the end of the season. Or
Right.
they may be
What
doing
they
it
used
at the
to.
beginning of the season, but they're not letting it fallow, that's for sure.
Mhm. So the question for them is just, what are their crop rotation practices, if
Yeah.
any?
Right. And I think, Davis is a lot more sensitive to best management practices than Grandview is. That's just
Yeah.
an opinion.
Additionally, a 4th area has been selected for longer-term agricultural operations not suited to a typical leasee farmer. Such longer-term activities may include cultivation of fruit trees or other tree crops, permaculture activities, or other activities that take many years to realize financial gain. This 4th area may be managed directly by the Conservation Commission or by a leasee farmer who is interested in such a long-term obligation.
Small detail, that should be 2 words. maybe.
Yeah, that's, I was like,
Right.
that's the whole thing. Thank you. Currently, this fourth area is growing back into early successional forest and will require significant investment to clear and convert to good farmland, although the soils are excellent.
One of the things we talked about originally was that would also be a good spot if somebody wanted to put greenhouses, because you can't see that from 16, which is part of
The
it.
view shed.
So if somebody wanted to put something like that, that would be the ideal site for it. It's also in a floodplain.
Yeah, I was gonna say permanent,
Right.
aren't structures part of it?
There, if you continue on, you'll
Okay.
see they mention greenhouses and
Yeah.
tubular structures for
Yeah.
greenhouse
Okay,
use.
does it have to be like seasonally?
No, not necessarily, but they do mention if you put them in, you are in a floodplain, so you may
Right.
basically see them wash away. So
Yeah.
it does mention that
Okay.
further on.
Alright, next paragraph. The wettest areas on site, near the southern boundary along the White Mountain Highway, have been left out of these areas proposed for agricultural leases, as the soils are considerably different from the other soil types on site. They need drainage to qualify as prime agricultural soils. Additionally, some of this area is not open grassland and would require significant work to reclaim as farmland. The area is growing up in poplars, birches, and other deciduous tree species. The first successional habitat type currently found in this area is also excellent habitat for a number of wildlife species of concern. In order to maintain mountain views from the White Mountain Highway and to retain the first successional habitat types currently exhibited, this area should be brush hogged at a maximum interval of every 10 years, more frequent clearing preferred. Prescribed burning would also be an appropriate brush management method. So that's what we've been working at, giving it a whack here and there.
Yeah.
And they've been brush hogging too.
Yeah, and we talked to the Forest Service about running training prescribed burn, and also the former fire chief in Conway about doing a prescribed burn in that area.
Yep.
They're interested, but it's definitely one of those sketchy areas where
Yeah.
prescribed burning can
Yeah.
really turn up into something really bad.
Yeah, right,
Because it's
especially
so
right there
close
by the
to
road.
There's 3 houses right there.
Yep.
I mean, it would be hard to visualize it burning badly because it's so wet in some of those areas. On the other hand,
Dry year.
it's
Small
really
breeze.
thick.
That conversation has not been had since when?
It's probably a good 10 years probably,
Yeah.
but I talked, the guy who used to be in the Forest Service, he used to be in charge of the fire. We worked with him extensively on that. I can't remember his name now, but I can look it up.
Yeah, and you did a burn at some point.
They did a small burn.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
It was before I joined.
Yeah, yeah, no, they did a small burn in where Davis is, they are along, between there and Grandview.
Mhm.
They weren't happy with its, with the results because it was not perfect conditions.
So perhaps questions for the Forest Service would be a separate question sheet?
Yeah, you could, I mean,
Here's this resource, do you want to do a burn? Do you want to, put
They wanted
resources
to-
toward doing a training session and
The
here's
guy-
a training
the
ground?
guy from the Forest Service was really psyched because it was right in their backyard.
Yeah,
But he basically approached both Solomon was his name, the
Mhm.
guy who was the former
Yeah,
chief.
for the fire
Yeah.
department, yeah.
And then the state of New Hampshire. And they were all pretty enthusiastic about it, but you just have to wait for the right, time of year,
yeah.
right
Yeah.
year. But they actually had a burn plan thing. I'm sure that can be dug up. I'm sure whatever that guy's name is, I bet his files are still floating around someplace.
Yeah, because we have a new, fire chief in Conway, so we can approach him with the,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if Rob has that in his box.
yeah, really.
I know, I remember talking to those guys a lot about this. But, I mean, it's legit to maintain it in the plan anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kathy, if you wrote it down just as a question for Forest Service?
Yes,
And then, not that you have to
Training
do
burn.
these, but just as we're coming up with questions, and then we can divvy up who's gonna ask who, what. and that kind of
Sure.
stuff.
yep.
the end of page 4, onto page 5. The fourth area, longer-term crops, and the wet southern area may both be considered for farming by leasee farmers in future iterations of this management plan, should conditions on site change or recommendations from USDA, NRCS, or UNH co-op exchange, change. These discrete areas, leasee farmer plots A, B, and C, longer-term agricultural management area, the fourth plot, and the wetter southern area maintained for habitat, may be seen on attached map B, proposed farm lots, map C, proposed infrastructure. These maps also show some recommended locations for pollinator buffer strips. So I think those maps still, so far, seem to be referencing appropriately. Some access roads to the farm plots are already in place. Others will have to be developed. Huh. Have roads been developed that weren't originally
When
there?
we were originally talking about this, we were talking about building a road from the Fish and Game, because they were negotiating with Fish and Game to
Right.
utilize, lease part of that property, and we were gonna build a road from Fish and Game, actually from adjacent to the Fish and Game, along that boundary we worked last year painting, from there all the way back to the fields.
And they showed it in the map and
Yeah.
mentioned it too.
Right,
Yeah.
and we talked with, Curtis Coleman about it, and we were hoping the Forest Service, this was
Right.
the optimal plan, the Forest Service would support that with some financing or
Yeah,
grant money to eliminate the need to have the access through
Right.
their back of their property. But then that was shut down by the, by Forest Service, because they said, well, we can't spend money on land that isn't
Right.
ours.
right,
So that would say, that's essentially dead in the water until you come up with
yeah,
a couple $100,000,
yeah,
at least probably.
And there seems to be an agreement now where the Forest
Yeah,
Service
there's-
is not threatening to take away the access that
Right.
we're utilizing
And that's
now.
like, we know it's, again, this is probably as part of the shutdown and everything else that happened in the last year with their staffing. You know, we were coming up with a memorandum of understanding MUR on the use of that road, which
Yep.
they seem to be more willing to do than they were 14 years ago.
right, yeah,
Right. Which they really didn't want that there. That was the problem then.
So that's like a separate agenda item, but since
Yeah,
we're
that's-
talking about it, what's
yeah.
the status?
Well,
Yeah,
basically,
it's on my
I've
list.
I've talked to Mike and, or Jim, excuse me.
Jim
And
Ennis?
Jim
Ennis.
Ennis, right, and Kevin, or before Kevin resigned,
Yeah.
was basically, had talked with Jim about the same topic, and Jim would have to run us through, apparently, the regional, not the regional office, the forest headquarters for the approval on that, because it's apparently not within his pay grade.
yeah,
That was
Yeah, 12 months ago.
our last update on that was.
Yes, well, it was pre-election,
yeah,
Okay,
right, which has been, obviously, they lost 30% of their staff, and,
Right.
I can imagine now they're totally buried. So,
I'm gonna, who's our point person with the Forest Service? Who among us is our Forest Service point person?
I can be,
yeah,
yeah, I don't mind. Yeah.
Would you be willing to make contact before next meeting?
Sure. Yep. And basically bring up the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, well, maybe by the next meeting, have a short list, that will certainly be one of them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about fire
Yeah. okay.
Right.
stuff,
Yeah.
Forest Service.
but the MOU is the big one,
Yeah.
yep.
because that's,
Right.
Is it worth inviting Jim to come to a meeting? Do you want this? Or not yet, maybe?
Yeah, he'd probably come sometime.
Yeah,
And fire management.
we wouldn't, also wouldn't want to necessarily waste his time.
right,
The first thing,
Just to
I
talk
think,
with
is
him.
just to have the conversation
Yeah,
and
sure.
check in,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
ask
Yeah.
him if he thinks it's productive of his time to come here, then
I've
great.
already talked to him, or we've already talked to him about it anyways.
Yeah.
So we've had that conversation already, and I'm sure that he's under extreme
Right.
duress right now.
Yeah.
Just because they've lost so many people.
Right.
So they're 25% off of the Saco district. I think 30% off the forest, including some of their biology people, which is insane.
Yeah.
See, you don't really know how the Forest Service is managing timber operations when they're supposed to do environmental impact statements and they don't have any of their technicians.
Staff to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's crazy.
Agree,
Yeah.
agree. So we'll check in with a few things.
Yep.
Okay.
I can do that.
Thank you. So we got onto that because of roads.
This is,
So this paragraph about roads, I don't see anything wrong with leaving it in there.
no, I would say optimally would be entering there and, yep.
It's kind of a wish list pipe dream at this point, but it doesn't mean it can't exist.
No,
Right.
and we had talked to with Forest Land Management, with Don Johnson, about possibly running a road on the southeast, coming in where the Forest Service entrance is,
Yeah.
and then crossing over and then coming through that forest, which is wet. And then coming into the fields from, parallel on Route 16 through the woods there,
Yep.
which is still, has a lot of timber on that still.
Right.
It could be really ugly if they cut it, but it might improve the view.
Yeah.
Right, but there's certainly a cost with that.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, if you're, yes, that would be, that's wetter than the coming in from the Fish and Game. Yeah.
I wonder if, I know that, I understand that getting grants is extra difficult right now, but I just wonder if there might be grant money out there that, the Forest Service wasn't gonna do it because it's not their land, but it's our land, so maybe.
What are those grants called?
I have no idea.
Brandon's gonna know it, because they've applied for several of those grants.
Mhm.
As far as the road goes, that would be the next step after not getting an agreement through the national forest. Otherwise,
Yeah.
If we
it's
don't
not,
get it,
it's not necessary, right?
Yeah.
Right.
like low priority unless we get shut out.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Or
right.
unless there's conversation of being
Yeah.
shut out.
Yeah, I just figure it would be better to try to improve those fields as opposed to make a road, assuming the Forest Service is willing to give us an MOU. They don't recognize, what's it called?
MOA.
No, when you've been using a road for 50 years.
Grandfathered use or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, you probably know this from surveying. Yeah, that road's been used since it was an airfield there.
Right.
But the Forest Service doesn't recognize historical use as a right. So they're gonna deny
Yeah,
that
right.
that we have, which was a debate we had when we made the purchase.
Right.
It's like, how are we gonna get access to it? We're kind of landlocked down there. But,
I know when I was a selectman, so that was 2014, 2019, 2020? Yeah, whatever, when I took in for Rob,
Yeah,
yeah, that was a hot topic, is
Right.
what are we gonna do if the
Yeah.
Forest Service says, no, you can't use the road?
right. Yeah.
And we
I
looked
think-
at a couple different avenues.
I got the distinct impression from Jim that he didn't see that ever happening.
Yeah,
And if they write a memorandum of understanding, and we make it like 50 years,
right.
that would get us
That
out
would,
of it.
that would be cool, yeah.
We can take away the risk or whatever.
Yeah, well, the
I
ambiguity.
don't know how long they'd write one of those things for. 10 years, I hope.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll find out.
Mhm.
I mean, those fields, when I worked for the Forest Service, they were still growing corn on those fields. I
Mhm.
don't know if it was Hussey was growing there, I don't know.
I think so, like, when I was
But I mean, there was always cornfield.
cornfield, yeah, like when I went to school there,
Yeah.
it was active, cornfield.
Right, right, yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So this paragraph about roads, any changes, or does it read okay as is?
I think it reads okay.
Okay. Next paragraph. Development of future water infrastructure on site can be accomplished with solar technology. Solar pumps would likely serve the purpose well, as the area has a high water table. This infrastructure, as well as parking areas, field, vegetable washing stations, and temporary equipment storage, may be located in the 3 access loading areas as shown on map C. Is that that's those red triangles?
Yep.
Jake, there? Can you pass that real quick? Does that still hold?
Yeah,
That's where no, that's kind of where they keep their equipment
yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah,
And I know
I
they've
don't know
talked
about these
about
other
doing
two.
that.
yeah, they've been using, either of these 2
Corners, yeah, because that's where they had that pile of ash.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's less because of the tree line here. You don't see very much in this whole area right here.
Mhm.
And this is a dip over here, so this is out of sight because of that rise that's in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jake. Okay. As shown on map C, or in another area mutually agreeable to the parties. As many areas of the property flood during spring melt or other heavy precip, care should be taken to remove such infrastructure from the property in advance of such predicted weather events. Make sense? Keep going for a bit more. Page 5. Agricultural practices allowed by the easement management plan. A, organic certification strongly encouraged. The property is currently certified organic. This is true? We're certified organic?
It was at it was back then, because the woman who originally had the first thing applied for the certification. I don't know what the status is now, whether you have to renew that.
Yeah, that's a
I
question.
don't think so.
And also,
I don't think they're,
I think the Gators farm people are really, they're adhering to that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, when they've met with us, they've definitely
Right,
pointed
adhering
out
to
that
those
they're,
practices, but not necessarily certifying their
Correct.
crops
Yeah.
as
Yes.
such.
Right. I'll bet.
But
they're calling.
whether, this is a question, but this just says the property is currently certified organic. I wonder where,
Where that certification is?
yeah,
Yeah.
who, where, when, what.
Well, the state of New Hampshire, or it's either that or it's UNH, Agricultural Extension. That's a good question.
How would we track that?
Probably could ask.
UNH co-op?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
That would
first
be a good
stop.
start, right? Say, hey, look, we think this is the way, we don't have any record of it. I'm sure they hear that.
So Kathy, can you write a question for UNH co-op?
I did, yes.
And you could also ask, the Davis people as well.
If they know about
Yeah.
certifications of any
Yeah.
type.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the farmers. So that's a question for the farmers next week as well.
Yep.
You kind of wonder about that at the beginning, I'm a skeptic. My daughter's like, buy organic, buy organic. It's like, how do you know it's organic? Just because they say it is. Even when it says certified, it's like.
right. Yeah, it's not saying that the farmers themselves have to be certified organic farmers. It's just saying they have to use practices that are,
But it just states that the property is
Right.
currently certified.
Right.
And if we don't know that that's true, then that might need to be deleted.
Land does, so according to this.
All right.
So 2 separate.
Yeah. Discussion?
So we're just discussing on,
The term organic, as it applies to the property versus the farmers.
Practices versus land.
and is it 2 separate things?
Yes. Which maybe should be clarified.
Yeah. I mean, unless we just want to state, like, clearly the property is, and just kind of leave the farmers out of it whatsoever, not mentioning anything about it.
Yeah.
Because it says, just a strong preference
Which we've always mentioned when we've had them here,
Yeah.
and they've always
Right.
I don't think.
pointed out that they
They
do
don't.
try to follow.
Yeah,
Adhere to
It
that.
doesn't,
I know
right.
It's never not talked
I
about.
know Davis is, they're all about,
Yep.
Mhm.
and I think they want to maintain that. I won't speak for Grandview.
Mhm.
So the wording is saying the property itself is certified organic. And then the second sentence is saying, we prefer that organic farming practices are applied or allowed. So it does specify between status of the land and the practices of the farmers in that sentence.
Right.
So I think the language to me reads okay. That's what you're,
Yeah, I had questions.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone
I mean,
further?
you could make the case that it's, right now, half of it is, and the other half is questionable.
Unknown.
Right, unknown, right.
Yeah. Let's ask the farmer when we have the
Right.
farmers
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah.
Good question for both farmers.
Yeah, it's good to remind them.
Mhm. Okay. B, animal husbandry. Allowed on a case-by-case basis with conditions. The conservation easement limits animal husbandry to non-intensive practices, see section 4.d. Keeping of animals on site will present challenges as there is currently no developed water infrastructure, fencing, or other structures that could be used for housing animals. Keeping animals on site will be decided on a case-by-case basis. Allowing individual leasee farmers to raise chickens, for example, in portable housing or chicken tractors may present far fewer challenges than allowing hogs, cows, or other large animals on site. Leasee farmers will seek permission from the ACC prior to the introduction of farm animals on site. Leasee farmers shall provide to the ACC the following information in order for the Conservation Commission to ascertain the appropriateness of the proposed animal husbandry with respect to the stewardship goals and conservation purposes of the conservation easement. All of this is moot, but we should probably still read through it. 'cause
Well,
there-
Yep.
Yeah, if you read through it, it's really a guideline on how to determine the numbers and types of animals.
Yeah.
So it's, the whole, it is moot, and like I said, you'd be reading just guidelines at
Yeah.
this
Okay.
point for that
We
section,
might skip
which
it,
doesn't
'cause
apply.
It was approved
Right.
and nothing's
Right,
changed.
if they came to
nothing's
us to ask for permission to bring some animals in, we could
Right.
then
Yeah.
review this, because we need to figure out
Right.
how to.
We'd have to,
Yeah, how to
enter
do
them.
we'd have to weigh the bees. The guy wants to put houses.
They, yeah, I was reading, they have formulas on how to figure out how many animals on,
Yeah,
but we don't need to do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
want to be a, what do they call this, industrial farm.
Yeah, so I'm not going to read through it since it is moot.
Yeah.
It can just stand, unless anyone has any further discussion or thoughts on it.
No, it's good to have it in the,
Yeah, keep it in there,
Plan.
let it stand as is.
cropping, seeds, and that's one.
And down to C, yep. Section C, cropping, general. Allowed with cover cropping required for fallow fields. Is that the case? That's a question for the farmers. Are
Yeah,
fallow fields being cover cropped? It says required.
yeah.
The property is ideally suited for row crop cultivation. Growing vegetables, green flowers, and other products which are sown or planted on an annual basis is easily accomplished on site and would be a good utilization of the high-quality farmland soils present. There should be little oversight of cropping operations needed, with the exception of ensuring that cover cropping and/or mulching practices are practiced. So that's another question, mulching practices. As the property lies within the floodplain of the Swift River, there's a real threat to the conservation values of the property when and if the property should flood while bare soil is present on site. Therefore, every effort should be made to mulch and/or cover crop bare ground between plantings, which will ameliorate any topsoil loss and erosion from floodwaters.
I think they're doing that. I've seen in the spring evidence that they're actually using a cover crop.
Cover crop.
And then, and they're using it as much as anything as a soil amenity as well. So it has some advantages besides stabilization. and it's cheap.
Well, it's a good question for both farmers, cover cropping and mulching.
Mulching,
Yep.
got it.
Either
Which
or
was-
is the way I read it.
Yep. Which was section C here. D, perennial gardens, orchards allowed. This is kind of moot, but the property could also be ideally suited for perennial agriculture, but would require a committed long-term leasee farmer. A specific area of the farm fields with excellent agricultural soils has been set aside for this purpose. Although farming in this area would require significant investment to clear, the area is currently early successional forest and shrubs. E, beekeeping, allowed. Beekeeping is allowed, but care should be taken to cite the location of any hives away from areas of high public use, or to otherwise separate these uses of the property through signage, temporary fencing, or other means.
Did the individual that came in here ask for permission to do that ever establish bees down there?
No.
Like, I've never run into any bees.
I think they decided that it was easier not to position hives down there. Partly because, yeah, exactly. That was part of it. Because that was a concern, is how they're gonna keep the bears out of it. So they need to have an electrical outlet or some kind of a deterrent for the bears.
Yeah.
And also, you'd have so many people walking around there, you wouldn't want to have any kind of a conflict with stings, bee stings, even though the honeybees are so known as those killers.
All right. F, composting. Composting is allowed either by each individual farmer as located and performed on each small farm plot, or by the Conservation Commission on a larger scale to serve the entirety of the property. If a large-scale composting is planned, advice should be sought from UNH Co-op, NRCS, and USFEL in citing such a facility. Citing large-scale composting on site, these considerations shall be taken into account to minimize impacts to other conservation values, visual impacts, public enjoyment, water quality, groundwater, wetlands, and not in the floodway.
And again, they're not doing that
It's
at this
moot.
point.
But the language still
Should
stands.
remain.
Yep.
Okay.
G, minor infrastructure for farming operations. Allowed with review. The following infrastructure is allowed pending design review with the ACC. High tunnels, semi-permanent greenhouse structures in which plants are planted in native soil. Examples include typical wooden end high tunnels with roll-up sides, which would allow for soil function and not present a permanent barrier to the soil. 2, water infrastructure. Example, solar-powered pumps, allowed within the access loading area shown on map C or other mutually agreeable location. 3, permanent or semi-permanent fencing other than portable electric fencing. These improvements to the property shall be cited to minimize impacts to views and other conservation values protected by the conservation easement. Any water infrastructure developed on site must be used for the on-site agricultural practices and not transported off of the property or otherwise bartered or sold for commercial purposes per the terms of the conservation easement. That all sounds reasonable? H, major infrastructure for farming operations may be allowed with review and approved by all parties. Major infrastructure may be allowed pending design review and approval from all property stakeholders as described in the conservation easement, section 10, including original grantors as required under the original grant terms. These include Albany Conservation Commission, Upper Sauk Valley Land Trust, New Hampshire Land and Heritage Investment Program, Trust for Public Land, or other funders. Major infrastructure would include the construction of a barn or a structure with a permanent cement floor or immovable roof line, impervious surface. Such major infrastructure may be required for equipment storage, communal washroom, cold storage, housing of livestock. Maximum allowed impervious surface is 6 acres, as limited by the conservation easement, and some minor infrastructure, such as greenhouses and high tunnels, also as regarded impervious surfaces in the easement. In general, the conservation easement prohibits any and all structures, but allows and encourages agricultural use. Any structures proposed for consideration must be limited to those structures necessary in the accomplishment of the on-site agricultural and forestry goals of the easement, and not able to be used for any other purpose. Therefore, such structures shall have to be necessary for the processing and sale of products produced on the protected property per the terms of the easement. Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Yep.
We stop there?
Yes, I was just gonna say, stop there.
Hard yes.
I already put a note in, pages 8 through 14.
I'm sure I caught that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to jump ahead to trail maps, since I just am here with the computer.
Okay,
I just have Cindy Sellers sent to me the existing trail map.
sweet.
It's probably what we have up in the kiosk right now. And she wrote in her email, happy to assist, depending on what you'd like to do. If you're looking to have a few maps created, this is Cindy Sellers from Usefeld.
Yeah,
We've worked with CCGIS a lot with a link.
okay,
So it's a GIS application or a company. There's another company we've been corresponding with recently who does maps and can also work with you on a kiosk display design, green goat maps. So she provided 2 links to 2 mapping resources.
okay,
Then says, we can help with providing map data as well. If you just want to update the attached map, that's possible on our end. It'll take time to recreate, update, and so it could be a while before we get to it, but if you're not in a hurry, we can certainly work on that. So what, is that the case for us? We're just doing a little update with the new trail?
Yeah.
Or trailer
Couple
too?
new- Right, a couple new
Yeah.
trails, which
Yeah.
are not complete yet, so it's not a rush.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of
Right.
work going on this summer.
Would the
But that's
map
good
need
to
to
sort.
expand out to include
Eventually, yeah.
the stuff that's over, is there more stuff over here that's off of this map? As of-
Not a lot more. It's hard to tell on that map. I wish we were in the other room where the maps are on the wall.
Yeah.
Courtroom now.
Yeah.
I can't tell how much, I'm trying to see, I see Bald Hill Road, there's not a lot that's in there.
This is the town land,
Right.
this one.
No, that's showing the whole thing. Now that you zoomed it in, it is showing it.
Okay. So anything we'd be updating fits on this existing map?
Yes,
It'd just be
exactly.
some new red lines.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So we can,
Well, that's a good source.
continue to just work with the land trust on that as we get,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting an actual, what is it, a GPS file of the trail?
Right. It depends. Whoever we choose through her, they would tell us what format
Yeah.
they would be looking for, or they might run out and do it themselves,
Yeah.
because it probably makes their life a lot easier.
Could be, yeah.
So that would be a discussion to have with them once you decide
Okay.
who to go with.
mhm,
We'd be interested to ask if either one of them do the, what do you call the login? I can never remember the QR code.
oh, yeah,
A big
Yeah.
QR code on.
Right, because we were discussing including a QR code.
Mhm.
I talked with the president of NEMBA, and he was certainly willing to assist through the club. They have the technology or the know-how to do a QR.
Yeah.
So, but if these people, one of those two know how to do it, that would be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
I think that's what she was saying by designing the map. What else you want to add on? Like, you know, we always say we should put NEMBA on there because they've done a lot of work in there, and the QR code
Yeah.
and the other stakeholders for the town forest, which a couple of them are on there now.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't have L-chip or NRCS.
Probably just did the major
It
ones.
just has, well, this just has Usefeld and Town of Albany.
Yeah.
But I think we have a sign below that has our other stakeholders, is that the case? Yeah. So the new map having all the stakeholders built into the map?
Right.
Yep, okay.
And one thing that I'll mention from talking to the NEMBA president is they've tried to kind of create a format throughout the valley for the
Mhm.
maps. It's all,
Yeah,
you know,
consistent.
consistent. They're trying to create consistency, and they're using the National Forest base map through the National Forest.
Oh,
as their base and then putting the trails on that. So it might be something to consider as well.
Yeah.
Because throughout the valley now, all the other kiosks are having, what they do is a big overall map, or, no, they do your map and then a big overall small map showing the whole valley, and this is where you are here
Yeah.
in this little map.
Originally, the Forest Service did the trail work.
That's what I told him, yeah.
Right.
But see, they're not using the Forest Service to do the map, but they're using the Forest Service. The Forest Service has given them their
Base
base map,
Yeah,
GPS map.
Right.
So that when anybody goes to any kiosk in the valley, it's consistent, they're looking at the same map. It makes sense.
They have those standards written up.
Who's they?
Number.
What do you mean standards written up?
Like you're saying, they're trying to create a standard.
Yeah,
map
yeah.
Standard.
Well, I'm talking to a guy who's running a ski shop right now, ski tuning shop, so I'm going
It's
to,
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, yeah, I'm gonna get together, he said he has an example, like, he has the base map,
Okay.
he can show me, and examples, for example, our trail signs, I said, a lot of them are handmade and they're gonna be there for a while, but maybe new trails, we can start utilizing
The standard.
the standard
Yep.
trails that, and in fact, Usevelt's adopted them for all the trails that we have, other than the Albany Town Forest.
Useful has already.
Yeah,
Okay.
and same with the Nature Conservancy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, everybody kind of got together and said, let's just make them all look like this and be consistent.
Okay, so Useful's already in the loop on, that's what I was wondering.
yes,
That standard, did they have a written thing that standards, like, we should share that to Useful?
Yeah, they're already in the loop because we're dealing with them through our bike club.
For Redstone and.
For all kinds of trails, you know,
Yep.
permissions and whatnot. And again, it used to be every zone had different styles and types of signs and maps, and, you know, something to be said for consistency.
Absolutely.
So Jeremiah is totally willing to provide that information, and also he has a source for creating a map as well. Like,
Okay.
and they would be willing to assist in creating. He was roughly purchase a 4x8 sheet stock, and you try to utilize it for maps and signs, because
Yep.
you have to buy it minimum by that. It's $500, but then that company puts the maps on
Oh,
it.
so it's the vinyl.
And what's left
It's
in
the
it?
vinyl laminate or whatever.
It's a plastic, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
hard plastic, yeah.
Oh, for signage.
Yeah, for the signage.
right.
I'm not sure if the maps, I think they're,
Yeah.
I mean, they're up without covers on them, so
Yeah.
they're pretty durable, whatever it's made of.
Was it that corrugated plastic stuff?
You'd have to go to one of the kiosks for the Conway. I haven't actually walked up, you know, it's one of those
Yeah.
things, us locals, we don't look
Yeah,
at it. For a
Yeah,
ride.
some of that stuff, ski touring, I looked into some of that stuff, it's really neat stuff for signage.
Yeah.
So you buy a board, and
That's-
it's a white on the outside, but the core is a different color. And then you have a company routing,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to paint it. Because once it's routed, you get the background color. I'm sure you can get choices with red or blue, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's really cool. It's also really expensive.
Well, like I said, he said if, you know, minimum, you utilize a 4x8 sheet,
Yeah.
and it's like $500.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to me, that's not expensive if it lasts. I mean, we spent
Yeah.
$250 just for plexiglass the last time, just to
Yeah.
cover our map.
Right, yeah.
So
And
not
the
expensive in
kiosk-
my
The
mind.
kiosk to shelter them.
Right,
You don't
right.
even need that.
Right.
Right, so I'm gonna follow up with him, you follow up with that, and come up with somebody that could do the maps with all the side information we want on it, and QR code.
That sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Any other map discussion stuff?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I just was sort of emptying my brain under the old business of things that we had discussed and set a date. For the farmers, so far, it looks like March the 3rd is a good date for them to come in and have the discussion on our next meeting. We had set sort of a tentative work day for boundary lines in the Albany Town Forest of April 16th. Again, I was putting that out there, asked for volunteers.
April 16th is a Thursday?
Is it?
Let's see.
Oh, 18th, sorry.
Yeah,
18th.
They're both weekend dates.
Oh, that's right.
Typo.
So turns out I cannot make the 18th.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it that day.
Right.
I I just can't.
But we picked 2 dates for that reason, in case.
Right, yep,
Remember, still keep the 2 dates.
okay.
I just can't make the 18th.
18th, okay. All right,
And the other date was May.
May 16th.
There it is. Okay, yeah.
More likely.
Yes,
Much of a
right,
winter.
yeah, the
There won't be
winter
as
we're
much
having.
snow,
Yeah.
People could be still
Yeah,
snowing.
exactly.
I know, we were having high hopes last. Any update on the email creation for the Conservation Commission? Okay,
No, I will,
all right,
actually
no,
follow up on that.
no worries.
This one.
Yeah, and how to raise money in the future, we just talked about the kiosks and, you know, hopefully a QR code and someday being able to do that. I also just wanted to throw in under other business, the Albany budget hearing is tomorrow at 4:30 here.
And so we've already agreed to our budget.
Our budget and
How
everything's
about
there.
the town warrant, the report? We need the annual report for the,
Oh, geez, yes, holy cow,
okay. I can do it.
yeah,
I'll just look at look at it.
Yes.
For what our meeting, to just summarize.
okay, yeah. Elisa hasn't asked for that yet, but she'll be asking.
Yeah, I can imagine right away.
Yep, put that in my,
The woman from, is it Cindy Soul?
yeah.
Cindy?
I'm free if you need me to go to.
Budget
Budget
hearing.
here's the spelling.
Yeah, I thought I might go tomorrow.
Court, it's Cindy Sellers is SELL.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I should remember that. I couldn't remember.
She's the land steward.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything tomorrow. Okay, so our next meeting is scheduled for March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd.
Yep.
28 days from now. And is there any other business that you'd like to bring up at this time? All right, hearing none, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, Sean and Mike, all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:46.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7:46.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I know, we worked
It's like
tonight.
an epic work session. All right, thank you.